Am I live?
There, you are live.
Jesus Christ, such a fucking.
All right, hey guys, this is Vomit Couch Podcast episode 1. We're just starting it, so expect some jankiness. My name is Rob, and I have my cohort here, Bobo,
Yo, Anthony Dominguez.
and behind the old metal tubes is Daddy, who's making sure that it all sounds clean, which it doesn't, but he's gonna work on it apparently.
He's gonna earn that daddy title.
So I hope you enjoy listening, and happy shit Monday. You'll see us every Monday, baby. Mwah.
Hey, in case you didn't read the title, this is about Mass Effect Andromeda. So, if you came here thinking we're just gonna dance around the plot, you're wrong. We're gonna spoil every aspect of this game to you. So, if you want to play it, if you want to experience it for yourself, don't listen to this until after you've done that.
So what'd you think of it, Bobo?
Gameplay wise, I think it's boring.
The story?
No,
Or
we're talking
game.
about gameplay.
So combat.
Combat is boring.
How is combat boring?
Because they take away everything that made the first, the second, the third one good. So I can't control my squad mates anymore. It's a dumbed down version. You only have 3 abilities now. Admittedly, the profile system is a cool idea. I like the idea. It's a good approach to one of the biggest problems that Mass Effect had, which was players felt like they were locked in when they chose something.
Yeah, but like critics and people on the internet and Reddit, like everybody is saying that the combat is one of the best things about the game. That it's like the most fluid combat of any of the Mass Effect games.
Fluidity and interest are 2 very different things.
You're in Mass Effect in the original trilogy. You could only have 3 abilities, couldn't you?
Was there only 3?
That you could control at any given time.
No, it was 9 because of the 3 of your other teammates.
Yeah, but you couldn't necessarily pick those. Like you could, but you could activate them whenever you wanted. I agree. I think that they should have had that in this game.
It makes no sense why they do that.
So you say it's boring just because you can't control your squad mates in a fight?
Yeah, because the biggest appeal of the combat is the combo system. And for those that don't know or who haven't played the game, the combo system is your teammate that you can't control uses an ability, and you as the player use another ability to combo or to make that ability stronger. You can have fire, biotic, or tech.
Yeah.
Right.
So you're saying that when you...
Eventually that gets boring. In the 63 hours that I played, it lost its luster after about 20.
How many points did you put into each one? Did you max them out?
Yes, I did.
You maxed out each...
Well, I didn't max out each profile, but I had enough different abilities for every like branch. So the 3 branches are tech, biotic, and is it soldier or is it just combat? Combat. And eventually because the way I play Mass Effect is 2 people the 2 characters, usually one's my love interest and the other one's just someone I think is really cool.
For that good banging?
For that good banging.
I love interest for that good banging.
I love good banging. But usually that's my squad the whole game. Like I don't care what planet it is, unless there's a loyalty mission for another person that I'm doing. That's my squad.
So you pick 2 and you keep them.
Essentially, yeah.
Okay.
Like the buddy system, dude. Never leave house without them. But it got boring after a while, dude. I'd seen the same thing: tech combo, and then the AI is sometimes super fucking wonky. Like tactical cloak sometimes just doesn't work.
Because that was like they'll still shoot at you.
Yeah.
You're saying?
Yeah.
I only found that once, and that was on bosses. But I guess that's stupid. But I could see why they did it.
But it would happen to me constantly.
Because it could be OP. Like you could just go cloak whenever you want, and that's it. No one can see you.
Well, the thing is about that boss is the Archon sword. Oh, we forgot to do the spoiler warning. Fuck. Whatever. We'll do that later. The Archon sword goes invisible, so it makes sense that he can see you. It doesn't make sense that any other... Because we play on 2 different difficulties. You played on normal, I played on hard.
Yeah.
Right? Well, on hard, they were like, oh, you're invisible? I won't shoot at you for 2 seconds. But another second later, guess what, bitch? You're open season.
Oh, so they would still fucking shoot at you even though you...
Yeah.
Wow.
And it would kill me, and I'd be like, yeah, this is a great combat system, BioWare. Fantastic. No.
I disagree. I think that the combat was good.
Okay, I do like. I think what they excelled at was the arenas. Like when you fought in a cat ship, it felt like you were fighting in a cat ship. Like it felt like you were in an alien spaceship that you don't know what the hell's going on inside of it.
It was always like that though, and that's been that way in all the Mass Effect games.
Like I like the levels of it, like because the jump pack's a really new addition to this Mass Effect. Like how much
the range of motion.
Yeah. So I like how that range of motion comes into play.
Yeah. What I really liked was that based on the profile that you picked, you had different like jumps and different things. Like you could use the evade that would make you go through stuff, or the evade that made you invisible, which I mean really didn't do anything, I guess. I never used it with tactical cloak, so I don't know if you like stayed invisible when you dashed, but I thought that was pretty cool.
As someone who used tactical cloak the whole game, you stay invisible no matter what the fuck you do unless you shoot.
Oh, even if you regularly evade?
If you regularly evade,
oh,
yeah.
Wow.
So I would phase through shit invisible. It was dangerous.
All right, well, I guess the combat's pretty good, I think. Okay, in my opinion.
Yeah, we're differing on that. Yeah, we don't agree with
that. So, what about the graphics? What do you think of how the game looks?
Overall, the game is beautiful. Scenery, the Nomad looks great. All the different paint jobs that you can have on it. Guns look good. Armor looks good. The ship, the Tempest, which is a really good.
How often did you craft armor though?
Often.
Really?
Yeah.
Would you like just based off of what? Like what upgrades it gave you, or how you liked the way it looked?
Yeah, 110% how I like the way it looked. I saw one thing that looked good purple, and I zeroed in on it.
Your armor always looked like shit.
Hey, you know what? Suck me.
It's all about that whatever armor I had. I forgot.
He had Ket Unity. How do I know that?
I didn't have Ket Unity.
Yes, you did.
No, I did not.
Yes, you did.
No, I did not. I had the remnant. I had the remnant.
No,
I had a remnant chest, remnant helmet, remnant arms.
Stupid.
I had a remnant chest, remnant head, remnant arms. You fucking piece of shit.
We can go to the Reddit post, dude. I bet you money that you replied.
Oh my god. Oh yeah. Well, my legs were Ket Unity. Wow.
Guess what, bitch? Guess who's still right? This guy.
Oh my god, with my fucking legs. Fuck you, bitch.
I don't like. There's a specific scene later on. There's a specific scene later on where you have like a part of your armor on. It was towards the end of the game, and it looked really bad.
What do you mean a part of your armor on?
Like, so there. I guess the game doesn't show you it, but there's layers to your armor, and later on in the ship, there's one specific scene where only the inner layer is shown.
No, I think that was a glitch for you because that never happened to me. Yeah.
Okay, because it looked disgusting. Like mine was like, because my color scheme for my armor was purple, green, and red. And it was just this green, disgusting vomit couch mess. And it was terrible. Like, legit made me want to kill myself in the game.
Yeah, I never had that issue at all.
But also, a big concern graphically, just sometimes stuff on the Tempest didn't load.
What do you mean, like the doors wouldn't open? Yeah, that was the biggest thing that I had too.
The doors wouldn't open, and there'd be times where PB's escape pod, I would walk up to it, it hadn't loaded yet, and I would fall to my death inside the
What? That never happened to me. What? Yeah, dude. You fell through the entire
I fell through the ship, dude.
Oh my god.
And I was like, well, this is a great end to my journey.
Well, I mean, I think that comes from the fact that when you're in the Tempest, it's real time the stuff that's around you. So like you look out of the Tempest and you see like if you're docked or orbiting Eos, like you see Eos, or if you're orbiting the Nexus, you see the Nexus, like you see it there. So I think that might be they're wasting so much like bandwidth and computer fucking processing usage on that it fails to load which isn't an excuse.
Yeah, I think that's a big topic with Andromeda, the allocation of time spent on what they chose to like focus on.
Yeah, speaking of allocation of time spent, how about that animation? What do you think of it?
Good segue. But animation,
what's that, Daddy?
I was making noise in my water bottle. I apologize.
Oh.
You probably want to fucking kill themselves now. So
for those that don't know, Daddy is our technical producer
/ social media director
/ daddy.
True. So anyway, graphically, oh man, it's a shit show with the human. But we already know that. Everyone listening to this already knows that.
Yeah.
There's no reason to beat this dead horse any
I
harder.
think that the Turians and the aliens all look good in my opinion, but I think that that's because you're not supposed to know, like you don't know how their faces are supposed to move.
I think the Asari can look pretty bad too, because of how human they do look.
Yeah,
they can sometimes look just as bad.
yeah, but then I would see like PB talk and you can see the emotion and she moves her hands, but then you go and talk to dumb bitch clown face Addison and she's like she just stares at you blankly while she yells at you and you want to fucking kill her.
For those
I saw this comic today and it was what happens if Shepard comes to Andromeda, and it was like Shepard is talking to Addison and she's like in complete clown face, and then he's like, what do you mean, what am I doing here? And then Garrus just snipes her from the back, and then Shepard turns to Garrus and he's like, thanks, she was getting ready to attack. Made me happy on the inside.
And for those that don't know, he despises Addison with all, like, every part of his being.
She's a clown face bitch.
Which I agree. But I think I find, first off, can we talk about Krem? Do you think they did it on purpose? That curveball of this big hulking Krogan walks up and he's just like, hey guys.
I don't think we really get like the opportunity to meet any female Krogan in the original trilogy.
We did in Mass Effect 3. It was a big part of the Tuchanka arc.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying like we never really had the opportunity to like get to know, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like you talk to them, sure, but you don't get to like know like what motivates them and stuff like that.
Do you think she's a good character? Do you think the fact that it's a she is more for shock value?
Well, no, because there was female Krogan on the new Tuchanka on Eladin.
Clan Morta, or
Yeah.
Morta herself.
Yeah, exactly. And she sounded exactly the same.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So I don't think it was shock factor. I think they just I don't know why they decided to go that way. I don't know if that's how they sounded in Mass Effect 3. I haven't played that game in forever, but
I don't recall the female. But I don't recall that. Well, I think it was a matter of fact of we didn't meet her, but we already knew it was a female. So we already had that cog in our brain.
Yeah.
This is a female. But for Krem, our main thought is, okay, here comes this big hulking Krogan. I haven't seen a Krogan in how many years? Here comes this male. No. I was taken aback. I legit laughed out loud.
yeah, I was kind of shocked.
Yeah. I do like the connection between her and Drac, though.
You just not like women? Is that what we're going into?
Yeah, this is the misogynist cast. This is a vomit misogyny. Featuring your boy.
Your boy.
So, just kidding. We here respect women, and yeah, all of us here at three of us at
All of us, yeah. All 25 employees at Mom Couch, yeah.
All who dedicate and spend their lives making sure this podcast is as shitty as possible.
So, what do you think of the story in the game, though? Like going around gameplay and going around animation, what the story was trying to tell?
I found the story to be lacking.
In what ways?
In imagination.
How?
I think the fact that we only see we only see 3 species of alien after how many years from Mass Effect 3, I think is a very, very boring and weak aspect of the story.
No.
Let me sentient.
It's gonna be like Donald Trump. No.
3 no
Wrong.
no politics.
Wrong.
3 sentient.
Wrong.
So the 3, thanks for fucking just derailing my train of thought, dude.
That's the Donald Trump tactic, dude.
Yeah, dude, it's beautiful. It's like seeing politics at work right in front of my eyes. But I think it shows a lack of, or an inability, or perhaps even a fear to take risks. I find it like
How though? Like they literally traveled 600 years to go to another galaxy, and they're building the story from the beginning.
Right.
Right? You're
Right.
starting new, basically. This is BioWare starting new in a new area that we have no idea about. Okay. And the original trilogy, it took just as long to build the story.
No.
Yes.
In Mass Effect 1, we were introduced to literally 8 different species, bro.
Yeah, but that's because the Milky Way was already developed before humanity got there.
And in the story, so was the Helios cluster.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was already developed.
No, it
just
wasn't.
got dicked on.
Yeah,
by the Scourge.
the Scourge and the Ket.
But that doesn't make it not. That doesn't make it any less sentient. That's like saying, oh, well, the Reapers came every 50,000 galaxies. Why are
Well,
they
yeah,
gonna-
you think if they made Mass Effect 4 and it was after the Reapers came and for some reason they sent a fucking 4-man group to fucking away from the Reapers so that way they could survive and then they come back. You think you're going to go and see all this life all of a sudden again? No, this shit's going to be fucking worms fucking barely
No.
evolving and shit.
At the end of the Reaper?
Yes.
At the end of Mass Effect 3, we won.
Okay, listen, I'm saying that if for no one knows the canon ending, first of all, because BioWare hasn't said what the canon ending is.
Actually, either way, no matter what ending you choose, it still talks about that shepherd thing at the very end with the boy and the grandpa talking about the story of the shepherd.
No, it doesn't. That's
Yes,
only if you choose synthesis.
No,
Yes.
because I didn't choose synthesis and I still got it.
No, you saw it on YouTube, dude.
I
You're
didn't
forgetting.
See it no, I didn't.
Yes.
No.
Dude, that's only if you choose one option. A specific option shows you that ending.
Debatable, but okay, continue.
So, if you were to start over in the Milky Way, you would see just as little life. So the Scourge came. The basis of it is that the Scourge came and disrupted all this, terraformed these negatively to where the remnant couldn't make these planets livable anymore, right?
Yeah.
That's the point.
Well, not that because from what we understand, based on what the Andromeda Initiative saw at first, they were inhabitable first. Like they were viable.
Yeah, what they
first.
saw 2.5 million light years away in the Milky Way, yes.
And then some point between point A and point B, either the Scourge or the Cat messing around destroyed the viability of these planets.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that they were never. It was just something happened between.
Yes. Yeah. 600 years.
Which is very important.
Yeah. So, but what you're saying is that it's lazy storytelling because of that?
I find it not lazy, just fearful to take risks.
Because they only introduce you to
They'll be-
4 species, 2 of them being AI,
Or
right? Because they mentioned the Jardin.
yeah, in passing.
Yeah, the Remnant, the Ket, and the Angara. Yeah.
Because you have to admit, throughout the whole storytelling, it's really latching on to characters of already introduced species.
Well, yeah, but you got to think that's the point. They're starting new in this area, so you have to, like, you're the Milky Way, or we're not going to come from the Milky Way 600 years and just come out of cryo and everything's going to be fine and dandy between all these species. Like, the point is that they came, some of them arrived 100 years or came out of cryo 100 years before they were supposed to, and that screwed up everything. Then there's a development between them leaving the Nexus and forming the Outcasts or forming the Exiles, and that creates a whole new complication in the story.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. And that whole uprising, while I like it and it's understandable, it's a good way to cause drama. It's a good organic way of drama interspecies wise.
Yeah.
I don't like the fact that it's kind of beat over our head how often it's mentioned.
Well, it was a big event. Think about it. Think you're going there with a certain number of people, right? That's all you have in this new place. That's all you have. So if half of them leave because they're mad, like that's like half of your chances of survival it just cut in half.
Really, half of our chances of survival?
Yeah.
Because it feels like no one does anything except for the Pathfinder. One Pathfinder.
Okay, no one does anything except for Shepard.
Debatable. We see a lot of things. We see a lot of movement from Elusive Man, from Anderson, from the Council. What their movement is literally to do nothing, but we see the conflict there. We see little conflict in the Nexus. We see.
Okay, what about the first game though, where no one believed Shepard?
That was in the first game.
Yeah, the first game, no one believed Shepard that this is a Reaper, or that not that it's a Reaper, but that it's a threat. Yeah. No one believes him.
Right.
This is the first game. You got to think of it without the baggage of the previous game.
See, but the first game on that one had. I liked the first Mass Effect because Shepard wasn't the captain of the Normandy. He wasn't important.
Yeah, he was. He was the first human Spectre.
Yeah, after the end, at the end of Mass Effect 1 is when he becomes the first human Spectre.
Oh, okay.
He wasn't important to the story. He was just another guy. Anderson was the original commander of the Normandy SR-1. And to segue off of that, I think the way they kill off Alec Ryder is lazy and dumb. And it's predictable. As soon as he walked up, I was like, you're dying. Easily called out. Because that's typical, that's cliche.
Yeah, I think that like if you go further into the story and you see that he was kind of distant the whole time, like why would he do that?
Yeah.
You know? I think that they should have just had him die like in an accident or something, like it terraforms a planet and like the lightning bolt hits him or some shit. You know what I mean?
You think he needed to die in order for the story to progress?
Well, how else would you become Pathfinder?
See, that's the thing. I don't think we should have become Pathfinder. I think we should have become Pathfinder at the end of this game. Or somewhere in between.
So he dies later?
Something like that. Because the fact of the matter
But then you would go through the whole story being like, why the fuck am I doing this when my dad is a real Pathfinder?
Well, so that'd be a good storytelling. You're trying to get out of your father's shadow.
That's cliche too.
True. But it's less cliche than the father dying and him somehow being able to hereditarily fucking choose who the next Pathfinder is. Can we talk about that? Like how is that okay? Oh, by the way, here's Cora, who I despise, by the way, but even I have to admit was trained
I got some of that skill banging.
Was trained to be this Pathfinder, and he's like, oh, get cucked, bitch. Guess what? My son's gonna be a Pathfinder now. Fuck you. Like what? Like why is that okay?
Well, did you read the memory fragments?
Yeah.
Like the reason it all comes down to the reason why he did it was because he didn't trust Cora to go through with saving his wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was being selfish.
Yeah.
He was like, I know if I give it to my son or daughter, then they will go through with seeing my wife still being in cryo and still being safe.
See,
if Cora was the Pathfinder dude, she'd be like, fuck that bitch. Kill her.
Yeah, see, that's the thing though. Why is there no conflict with that? You have one conflict with Cora and she literally just gets over it.
No, she doesn't get over it. You yourself were complaining about how the whole game she was like, I'm the Pathfinder.
Yeah, that's one person. There's a whole ship, bro. There's a whole ship.
I don't think anybody else knows that you were supposed to be the Pathfinder or that she was supposed to be the Pathfinder next.
No, it isn't about that she's supposed to be the Pathfinder next. No one's like, hey, who the fuck is this dude? Who's the random Pathfinder? You know what he did before? He guarded a mass relay, dude. Or she, I don't even know what she did. What did she even do?
I don't know.
Yeah. That's because Sarah Ryder's a terrible fucking character. But we'll talk about that later. But there's no conflict where there should be. See, with Mass Effect 1, there was conflict. They were like, who the hell is this dude to be a fucking Spectre? He did one thing. Oh, fucking big deal. There was legit conflict there, and it was good.
Well, no, but it makes sense for him to be a Spectre. He was a
exactly
N7.
That's like the player's ability to fight that, right?
Yeah.
What's the argument for us to be Pathfinder? Logically.
Well, you're his son. He chooses you.
Right.
Yeah.
Who the hell decided to be hereditary? That's a terrible system.
Well, no, but that's the reason. You have to look at this. Okay. Mass Effect 1 makes sense logically.
Right.
This Andromeda makes sense selfishly.
Right.
The reason why he did it was to protect his wife.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why.
And for those that don't know, the player character's mother has a terminal disease, which
I think if they're past the spoilers, they're gonna know this.
No, not really.
Yeah,
because people listen to podcasts without playing games all the time.
Oh,
but
that's true.
So the mother has a terminal disease, and the father's like, "Damn, I don't want my wife to die." So he's like, "All right, we're gonna go 600 years in the future, and I'm going to put her in cryosleep, and it's gonna freeze the disease so it doesn't kill her, and hopefully we find new technology in the new universe."
Not new technology. Sam is the thought.
No, Sam. Even Sam says when you're looking at her, like when you're looking at her in the cryopod, he's like, "There's still more to discover here in this galaxy. Hopefully, we find something for her."
Well, Sam is the reason. He was the reason why he was created, was to cure her.
Not to cure her. He was the reason. Well, he was like at first he was.
Yes, but then
he couldn't.
He just helped to prolong her life.
Yeah.
Yeah, he couldn't because of the lack of technology.
What are we arguing about?
That's what they're hoping, that is with time Sam would be able to cure her.
No, that's the whole reason they went to the new galaxy.
But Anthony, he's a artificial intelligence. Like the algorithms that it can run is smarter than any of them.
Right, but
That's the hope.
It still needs a new technology.
Yes,
Right.
but a new technology for Sam to use.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How's Sam gonna find it?
with his legs.
Yeah, exactly. So let's talk about. Let's jump to characters now,
Okay.
and let's compare. Is Scott/Sarah a good protagonist?
I didn't use Sarah, so I can't comment on Sarah. But I felt that as I went through the story, Scott developed into a good character.
I agree.
Yeah, decisions that I made. I don't know if it's different based on how there's the 4 choices in the wheel.
Yeah, for those that don't know, that's emotionally, logically, professionally, and casually kind of is what it is. That one's the weirdest one. It's the bottom left choice.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm not sure if it's like kind of like Renegade and Paladin in the other game, or Paragon. Sorry, Renegade and Paragon.
You just hurt my soul.
where like as you use them, like your dialogue choices change. I don't know if it's that way when you do that, because if you look at your stats, it tells you how many times you used each one. So I don't know if like because I was a sarcastic ass, like my character slowly became a sarcastic ass on his own. But as it went through, I found myself like aligning more with Scott than I did with Shepard.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
Shepard is like a like Master Chief. You know, like he's like, dude, like this guy is like the hero. He's like Goku. You know what I mean? Like he comes through to save the day, like when you need him. Scott is like me,
the
like,
chill commander.
Like I feel like he was more of a role playing game. Like
wow,
I was stepping into Scott Ryder and I was making the decisions he was making.
Yeah, that's a good way to connect to the dialogue wheel, because I think the dialogue wheel has been massively improved in Mass Effect Andromeda compared to
the other ones.
Why
do you think that?
Because it's amazing how much those 4 choices shape your character.
That's what I was asking if I don't know if it does or doesn't.
It does, because from what I've been able to understand from the codex that Lexi compiles of you, it's literally a character profile of you, and it's completely dependent on what you choose. Like mine went from he's a very professional, blah blah blah, to you're a really kind-hearted and empathetic person who people can connect with that, and that's amazing. And as it continued, it was like, but your sarcasm though.
Oh, you're saying what Lexi writes about you, right? Yeah. So I definitely think that aspect is changed in the codex, but I'm saying like I don't know if more dialogue options are available to you or not available to you based on what you choose. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
Like if you choose more professional, are you going to get more professional options? Like sometimes if you look, sometimes there was only 2 choices.
Yeah.
Like what if it was only those 2 choices because that was what you were leaning more towards? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand.
And I don't know if that's what they did with the game.
I think that it is like that, but to compare it to the original trilogy, I think that to me it always felt like Renegade and Paragon were always like disconnected almost from Shepard, because one moment you could do something badass like stalk a reporter, and the next moment you could be like, oh, I'm sorry. Like it was like those what you choose in the middle of the action.
No, but as you built more and more Renegade or more Paragon, you could do more and more things.
Right, it was points. It acted as a point system.
Yeah. The more you used it, the more you could use it.
Right. And I think that instilled almost disconnect from the player, the person playing it, because it's like, because if you look at these role playing games that are like critically acclaimed, like Chrono Trigger, the original Final Fantasies, they're these, like you said earlier, they're these ability to step into the player character.
Yeah.
And I think that with the Paragon and Renegade system, there was a limit to how much you could. Because whenever you did something Renegade, you're like, oh, that's badass. But I don't know if I would go that far. Like, I want to be a badass, but not that ridiculous.
Oh, okay.
But I think with this new system, it's like, it's a perfect, like, balance. Not perfect. Obviously, there's obvious improvements that can be made. But as far as, like, the balance, like, would I do that? Yes. Would I reply like that? Yes. Emotionally was emotional.
But what about the times that you did get those like quick time events where you could choose right trigger to shoot or right trigger to hug,
Right trigger to hug.
right trigger to fuck.
Good banging. But I think that the right trigger, when it very first popped up, I think it was badly introduced. I don't think they gave you, because there wasn't really a tutorial that popped up. I think there should be.
Yeah, I think that they should change that to where it's not like a quick time event, because in quick time events, like especially the game before I played was Until Dawn. So like in those quick time events, you have to press it or the guy dies. So whenever I saw right trigger, I was like, oh, let me press it. Like I didn't even I didn't even get like a chance to think. Like let me make that decision if I want to shoot.
Well, the thing is that also is stepping into the role though, because your character doesn't have time to think.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So it's give and take.
Yeah, but then they shouldn't allow you to sit there and freaking stare at your character's empty face while you think about the choice you're gonna make.
Yeah, there's a certain amount of disbelief.
Yeah, if they're gonna go one way, then they should go completely that one way.
Yeah,
make every decision or every conversation that I have timed. Like if I'm sitting there just staring at the person, they should be like what?
Like what the fuck?
Like, are you gonna continue the conversation or not?
Yeah. What game did that? I think Fallout 4 did that, right? If you stared at them, like for a while, they'd be like, "Hello."
Yeah, they would make little.
Too bad Fallout 4's RPG game play sucks, but
that's another conversation.
Different podcast.
Yeah. What do you think about the ending of the game? Do you think it let you go for more?
I found the actual cinematic where everything that you did popped up. Like if you chose Reyes or Sloan, like how that popped up. I like how everything came full circle. But as far
Can we talk about how cool that was? I think that the Reyes and the Sloan thing was honestly like my favorite part of the story.
Yeah, I liked how much choice it was.
Yeah, like it was a lot of, you had a lot of choice in that specific quest. For some reason, I feel like that was one of the first quests they made. Yeah, like when they started building this game, that was one of the first quests they made, and they were like, "Wait, maybe you shouldn't go straight to the outcast right away."
Yeah,
and then because that quest was so well written, the
great character,
the animations were great, the characters were great.
Reyes, either you hated him or you just loved
the stuff you had to do was great.
Yeah.
Like just everything about it.
The planet was really good.
So I honestly feel like that was like one of the first things that they created.
Yeah.
But I have seen like clips from back when the game was like in pre-alpha or whatever they would call it, back when they showed like the jetpack for the first time, like freaking 4 years ago or whatever. Yeah. And the scene where you're on Drax's loyalty mission and you have to save that other Krogan and he cooks that grenade or whatever. I have seen that scene back in the pre-alpha, so that was one of the first scenes too.
I think Drax as a character was a starting character.
You think so?
I think they wanted like a grandfatherly character.
I love Drax.
I like him too, but we'll talk about the individual characters.
All right, so what do you think about the ending of the game, though? Do you think
I think overall it's a good starting point for the rest of the franchise. The rest of this.
It wasn't lazy like the rest of the game?
No. I like the build up to what Meridian is. I think that aspect of the story is really well written. I think the fact that the Hyperion lands there is understandable. It's not contrived. It makes sense that they would do that. I think that the fact that the Archon kidnaps your other sibling is a very good plot point. I think it brings them in otherwise they wouldn't be part of the story at all. Because to be honest, I didn't like the fact that they were frozen from the start. Like they couldn't wake up. I thought that was lazy.
Yeah, I thought that they were gonna be a squad mate the whole time.
I was hoping for that.
Yeah. I was at least like there with you like the whole time.
Or they get to do their own thing. They get to have their own glory.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I don't like about some RPGs, like the fact that the player character is the only one who gets to have this glorified spotlight.
Yeah.
I always find that to be lazy.
But that's just, I think it's not laziness. I think that, dude, like they have to go and script every mission, every side quest, every interaction with a character, they have to script everything and make sure, like an open world game, I'm sure it's not easy. I don't know how to develop a game. Do you know how to develop a game?
No.
So I'm sure it's not easy. So to create two dueling characters that are going through something at the same time, that's got to be hard.
See, the thing is, they don't have to do that though. You know what they can be? A codex page.
like what's going on.
Like what's
Yeah, but then people would call him out like, "Wow, you told a whole story through a codex page." Cough, Destiny, cough.
yeah, but shade. But better it's better than them. It's worse for them to be frozen the whole time.
It makes sense with a story though.
Yeah, but it's just I guess it's just from someone who's just jaded from how many RPGs I've played. It's just typical.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But other than that, I think the story is a good. I think you're right by saying that the story is a good foundation point. While it could be stronger, I think that there's some. I think there's
Like,
some.
you were upset that there was only one alien species, basically.
one
Well, two.
surviving.
Yeah.
Well, we don't really we know the cat's objectives, but we don't know anything. We know little about their society.
Well, we know that the Archon was just one of many Archons.
Yeah.
So
We know that.
Yeah. Throughout Helios, or not Helios, but throughout Andromeda. Yeah. So.
And
But if you look at it like physics based,
okay,
the idea that there's only 2 or 3 sentient species in one area is not crazy.
yeah, it's not crazy, but I just think that there's that I'm willing to suspend my disbelief because of the fact that they're going to a new galaxy, and there's just this sense of wonder
About exploring these
about exploring these places and seeing all these different sentient life, seeing how different their cultures are.
Yeah, you want to see that. Like, you
Yeah.
want to see more.
Like that's like I think that was one of the biggest draws for people for
It
Andromeda.
was just like one of the biggest draws for No Man's Sky.
Ooh, let's not kick that dead horse around. Or no, it's not even dead horse. It's a fucking undead.
Hey, it's coming back.
Yeah, right. But
Game
by
of
the
the
way,
year. Game of the year.
that game's a goddamn joke. If any of you think it's not, fight me.
Send him emails at vomitcouch@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Say, Bobo, you a bitch,
and
in the subject line.
then find us on Twitter at Vomit Couch, and just wail on me for hating
Follow me on Twitter.
your beloved terrible No Man's Sky.
And Snapchat.
And Snapchat Vomit
I
Couch.
saw your snaps. Show us your bits.
Show us your bits. Do not listen to this weirdo unless you want to.
So I think that going
Not
back on
enraged.
topic here,
Just covering my
speaking of
bases.
bits and Andromeda, how about that Korra banging?
That good bang. I think that the animations were done really well.
You know what and the textures, specifically the nipples. The nipples were really good, I thought. So anyway,
The blue nipples on PB were very nice because they weren't blue.
what I really wish
They
though
were
is that
shades of
like
purple.
okay, like
And I can appreciate that.
hey, back on topic here. All right. I was sweet banging Korra, right? And then I go to Nexus and I'm sweet banging the interviewer, bitch.
Yeah, you're a fucking scumbag.
I didn't get to see, but I wish that there would be some like altercation, like Korra would come and fight her, dude, and like something would happen, or like I would get caught. Like that would be cool, because
Korra walks in.
like in the difference between. I mean, that kind of happened in like 2 and 3. Like whoever you romance in the second game,
Oh, it was so
whoever you
awkward.
romance in the third game,
Because
like, you would have to choose. But really choose. Like if it were Miranda and Jack, they should have fought each other.
Like in Mass Effect 1, if you like romancing Liara and then her coming back in Mass Effect 2, it's like ooh, hey,
About that.
yeah, that's gonna be a sad day. Because fuck that character. Just kidding. Liara's a decent character, I guess. I like the Shadow Broker thing, but I think it's a good part now to switch on to characters and how well or not well they're written. And let's be honest here, I think the weakest character on the base squad is Liam.
I agree.
I think he's I like what
he's
he's
Jacob of Mass Effect Andromeda.
terrible but true. He's like the Vega from Mass Effect 3. But I liked Vega. At least he was a musclehead. He was cool. But this guy's whole like character. He doesn't even develop as a character, really. He's just the whole time.
Why is it always the first person that you're introduced to is the most boring character? Like Mass Effect 2 is Mass Effect 2 is Jacob, Mass Effect 3 is Vega, and Mass Effect Andromeda is Liam.
Yeah.
Like,
I think that they tried really hard to recreate Garrus and failed
with Liam?
with Liam.
No.
Yes.
No way.
Because he tries to be your bro. He tries so
When
hard.
do you meet Garrus in Mass Effect 1?
Mass Effect 1, he's like the second or third character.
Oh, okay. So he comes in pretty soon.
Yeah.
Because nothing's better than the second one, where you're
When-
trying to find the Archangel and,
and
like,
he's just
and it's
there.
Garrus, dude. That's the best part.
Because I think
You gotta give these characters a chance, though. Like,
yeah, I do. Yeah, and
this is the first game. Like, get the second game and let's see like how they develop. Because I mean, Garrus was cool in the beginning, but he doesn't get like awesome until the second one, and you go through some shit with him, and then the third one, and you're just sitting there shooting shit on the Citadel while
no.
the impending Reaper Doom is ready to come and wipe your entire family and the entire humanity
Oh
of
my
existence
God.
off of the face of the galaxy.
the waterworks, dude. I'm about to cry off that. But
Shepard's indoctrinated.
oh my God, here we go with that stupid theory.
Hey, that's a real theory. So
Yeah, in
Don't
your
talk
head,
shit on it.
in your head canon.
okay. Everyone has said it, dude. There's videos on YouTube.
I'm
The
sure.
Illuminati is real.
And there's
Beyonce's a member.
oh my gosh, Jay-Z created it. So I
All
think
the presidents are reptilian.
jumping forward with the characters thing and not talking about that bullshit theory. I think that the strongest romance is Vetra's
Why?
because I feel like that one's
You
meant.
didn't get any of that good banging.
Yeah, maybe it's a little bit. Maybe I'm just trying to justify not getting any good banging. But I think as far as like, I feel like there's different. They were going for different kinds of relationships. They were going for good banging, character like developing, and then like fluff romance. And Vetra's the fluff romance.
I think it was really cool of them to include the option of being casual with PB.
I agree,
Like that's real life.
but there was no animation, so I was sad.
But that's real life. Like you either like you could be casual with somebody and that's it.
Yeah.
You know, somebody that you know.
Yeah, I agree.
So I think that was cool. As characters, though, I think that I think they're all pretty strong in their own way.
I think Jaw is the best character.
Jaw was pretty cool. It's just interesting to find out about him. I think that
I like how he develops.
I think that the Angara as a whole, though, are kind of like too human. Like,
Oh, okay, yeah.
like I feel like it should have been weirder.
I very much agree.
Yeah, like it should have been a weird like because like they talk a little bit about how they're like more emotional. They're more forward with their emotions,
Yeah.
but you don't really see it. Like
Yeah.
he still feels like he hides stuff from you and like
It's
you know what I
always
mean?
like bad over your head, but it's like, but you never really show it to
yeah,
me.
but you never really do it. So
By the way,
it's-
can we talk about Jaw's loyalty mission? Because who the fuck, like, whose first reaction isn't to shoot Axel?
Oh yeah, I know.
Like, come on.
Did you shoot Axel?
I did shoot Axel.
I did not.
I loaded back in.
Uh,
But first off, the mission.
I think that was the point though, because other missions like your first reaction is to do it and it's good.
Yeah,
But maybe that was the point to kind of
to trust him, I guess.
yeah.
But it was just like,
So you're a freaking save reloader?
oh, dude,
Dude,
hard,
Get the hell out of my
Hard.
face, dude.
hard.
You're
save
kicked off the
reloaded.
podcast.
I'm gonna go make.
You
my
gotta
own-
live with your fucking decisions. Can you reload save in real life?
I'm gonna go make my own podcast called Couch Vomit.
Good one.
Yeah, and the producer's gonna be named Sunny, not Daddy.
Sunny.
But I think that Jaw was a good character. Drac was a good character. PB, I don't like the way she was introduced. To be honest, I don't like how they were all introduced. Because I felt like they were like, okay, here's your companions, get over it, let's go with the story.
Yeah, I could see that.
Like
But that was the same way Mass Effect 1.
not well, kinda, I guess. It was a little bit more organic. Because you're going to the nightclub. So of course you're gonna see bodyguards there. Boom, there's not Rex.
Yeah.
You're going to the slums, so of course you're gonna see like hired mercenaries. Garrus. The only one I can agree that was forced was Tally, but we all know how shitty of a character Tally kind of is, so that's fine. Not fine, but whatever. I just don't like by the end of the second mission you have all of them already.
Yeah, it was kind of quick.
Yeah, I remember like thinking about it like, Like, this isn't everyone, right? And then the achievement popped up. I was like, oh my god, this is everyone? Only 6
You know what they
people?
should do in Mass Effect is that they should allow you the opportunity to like make a decision between companions.
What do you mean?
Like, what if they like offered you like Garrus or Vetra and you had to pick?
What do you mean?
Like,
Elaborate.
like let's say you go to like a like for example in Andromeda they're separated, right? So you go to the Krogan, you go to New Tuchanka,
Yeah.
right? And you don't have a Krogan companion yet. You go to New Tuchanka and you meet the Morta and her side of New Tuchanka, and you meet that other guy who's trying to betray her or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And what if they developed that story more, and each one had a Krogan that you could take as a companion? But if you choose one, you don't get the other.
Right.
I think that would be cool.
I like that too.
Like, it would cut you off from an entire section of the game.
Because of your decision.
Yeah, because you chose a specific companion. Which Mass Effect hasn't really done that. Like, you're kind of the companions just kind of go to you, you know?
Yeah, the only one that kind of attempted that was Inquisition, and even then that was kind of because you could, for example, like Sarah, you could just tell her ass to leave whenever.
Yeah,
just leave. Or like Iron Bull, you could say I'm not going to pay you.
Yeah, or the rogue demon.
Oh yeah, Cole.
Yeah, you could do that too.
I see.
Which is BioWare, dude. Why didn't they keep that?
Because it was a completely different studio.
Yeah, but gotta keep it consistent, man.
I agree.
Fucking EA.
I don't think. I think there was. Okay, so here's the big clincher here. I think that there was too much time spent on exploration in this game. I think they needed to knuckle down, keep it linear, and focus on your goddamn.
But if you think about it, you're exploring a galaxy, a new galaxy. That's the point.
Yeah, but in Mass Effect 2, you're exploring the terminus systems, which no one had really explored either, and they did it linear, and I was cool with it. I think that I don't know what is up with these games now. Like, what is up with this need, this fucking drive to be open world?
Yeah, the open world is the new first-person shooter, dude.
It's so dumb. It's making games weaker.
Not really. Look at the most recent like great games: Horizon Zero Dawn, open world.
Let's look at the flops.
Persona 5, open world.
No Man's Sky. Mass Effect Andromeda.
Not a flop.
I think as far as, like we said earlier, founding like a good place to start, no. In comparison to the rest of the trilogy, yes.
What would you say that it gets in your eyes if you put a number on it?
Would you 1 in 10?
Yeah.
Kind of rate, is it just a total overall score?
Overall score.
I think 7. A 7.5 is what it deserves.
I give it an 8. Like around an 8.
I think anything above an 8 is bias. I think there's no way. This game is fundamentally broken.
Yeah. Plus, it came out around such perfect games. Like, you have The Legend of Zelda. Like, you had Horizon Zero Dawn, just games that are just
monsters.
Critically acclaimed.
Yeah.
You know?
This whole like this year of gaming so far has been amazing.
Yeah. But that's not another episode.
True.
Of the Vomit Cast.
We just want to thank everyone for taking the time to listen to this.
If you do, and if you're listening to this in the future when we're rich and famous, and you come back to this one, and you're like, "Fuck, how did these guys start with this shit?"
Hopefully they let me.
We're literally on a kitchen table right now with like no freaking sound barriers or nothing, so you hear every little freaking crinkle of a fucking.
And it's hot as balls.
Daddy's gonna make the background stuff better next week.
Daddy's
gonna make it better.
Daddy's gonna earn his fucking name.
But expect us every Monday. With some gaming news, gaming related things.
Hopefully we
might talk about other stuff, things. Politics, how my asshole itches right now.
How I want to die weekly.
But just thanks for listening, and
we hope you have a great week.
Do better. And thanks for listening, guys.
Bye. Thank you.